anything not now. Anything not now. Well, we'll do like when we go to Big Finish.
Yes.
Not like headquarters. We're not going to storm the building. Like
Not yet.
Hand over Sylvester McCoy.
In Berkshire.
Now.
We're not going to Berkshire.
We should like have our picture done in the famous Big Finish car park.
The famous. Well, it's that famous. I don't even know where it is.
That's where they do. Like when they do the the pictures of like so they always take the picture in the car park, don't they? So like you could be like the doctor, like pointing something out, and I'll be like, "Oh, this shit! It's a Cyberman."
Oh, it's a return of the Nymon, but we can't afford it on screen. So All
right, listen, don't joke about the Nymon because hello everyone, welcome back to No Bubble Podcast. Movies, comics, TV shows, and
stuff that hasn't been done before.
Audio dramas.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one's not been done before.
We're audio guys now.
We are officially audio guys.
We are. Welcome to the two people that didn't get Oasis tickets.
Absolutely not. I'm more of a Fanta and Sprite person, to be honest.
Very well. Let me shake your hand. That was very well done. Very well done.
No, it wasn't. Fed him to drinks.
Because we don't want to pay £350 to listen to some song. I mean, I would, but it's just too expensive. Well, you could listen to us for free. I mean, we're not going to sing Wonderwall, but...
I mean, I got swindled by Linkin Park today because it turned out...
They held you at gunpoint. Give us your money, Conor. You're like, fuck, it's Linkin Park. They're stealing from me.
Except this wasn't in a park.
Oh.
All this happened, or may or may not happen, but not in a park.
It was in the,
It was in a car park.
It was in the Lincoln car park, yeah.
It was a Lincoln car park.
The Big Finish Lincoln. Big Finish. We love to park our cars underground. That was the old slogan, but then they had to get rid of it because it wasn't catchy. We see you, Nick Briggs. I mean, we can't, but we...
but we will soon. By the time this is out, it'll be like...
a week?
Yeah, like 7 days and 14 hours and 55 minutes. And counting.
When does it start?
It's at 7 p.m.
Is it 7 p.m? Ooh.
Yeah, it was either 2 p.m, which was fully sold out, or 7 p.m. And then after I bought our tickets, because it was originally only the Saturday, they then added the Sunday afterwards. So, we were there first time around, and they went, because they're so special, because we know we've got the press, aka the YouTubers, paparazzi coming, we got to make
because
it
bigger.
Oh, clearly because of us.
They saw us and they're like, fuck, guys,
because of us.
They're had another day.
Pertwee Smith 11, Adam Martin, who cares about them? Faces you for coming.
No, we care about Adam Martin. He was selling all of his Big Finishes because he's moving house.
I know.
Because I sent you that thing because I was like,
yeah.
I was like, I don't know, maybe Conor would buy some of them. I don't know because he's got. But then you've also got no room either, have you?
Not as such.
Unless you staple them to the ceiling.
Staple them to the ceiling and every inch of my wall. Yeah.
Huzzah! But anyway, I fucking forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, what was we talking about at the beginning? Something. Anyway,
well, how beginnings are smalls.
Yes, we're starting a spin. Nick Briggs, don't sue us. We're starting small start.
Yeah, we're going to talk about partnership. We're going to get the pen and papers. We're going to make it official.
We're going to write.
It will be the stuff of legend.
We're going to write the scenes that are basically like the pre-credit sequences in Doctor Who episodes, but it'll be set between Big Finish stories. So we fill in the gaps in continuity that you've left.
You did on purpose, Nick.
And then someone will have to start an even smaller one to do the ones between our ones.
Yeah, small list.
And it's just like a noise like,
there you go. Welcome to production.
Welcome to how are you? Because in real life, it's been
like millennia.
It's been like 2 weeks. Because we did.
Yeah, it feels double the time though.
We did like 3 episodes in one day. We talked about D23.
That feels like such a long time ago.
And then you recapped Alien as a man who's only ever seen as a person that's only ever seen Alien 1 and 2 all the way through.
Yeah.
And Requiem for some fucking reason, but Requiem...
Oh, AVP Requiem, yes.
As I said to Mike, I'll argue that it's not a bad movie. It's more horror elements. I mean, the screen's really dark, so you can't comment on AVP.
Yeah, I've heard it's a technical mess, and it is basically a blue screen. Even on the Blu-ray, it's really awkward and...
The problem with AVP is AVP is PG-13.
Oh, boo!
Whereas Requiem reinstalls some more of the horror elements.
Oh, it reinstalls?
So
it had like a 20 gigabyte update.
It's darker in terms of
for
tone,
next gen,
and the fact that the screen is so dark, you might as well have your telly off.
So essentially, it was ahead of its time because this is before the age of HDR or the high dynamic range.
Yeah,
basically.
This is
the sound of it.
This is a HDR film waiting
to be
pirated,
pirated, remastered. Yeah, downgraded.
Downgrade, like the opposite of the Cybermen, which will be in small start. But yeah, we're seeing Paul McGann. And is that it? No.
Alex McQueen. Neil's dad.
Neil's
dad. Betweeners.
That'd be cool.
That'd be great. I'm excited.
I mean, I'm gonna take my copy of the Doctor Who television movie. just in case. Just in case I get Paul. Can you just
cover your face
sign this for me, Paul?
over your long lavish
Go,
hair?
certainly. This pen fits perfectly. Say the thing about the shoes.
Yeah, please. Talk about your shoes, Paul.
I.
Well, we'll never know because that series never got lit.
What is the story that the stuff of legend? Is that a story?
That's the title of it. That's the story. That's the event. It is the stuff of us partnering Big Finish. That's the stuff of legend.
They're bringing us
it's
up.
It's all down. It's the stuff of legend.
We actually play Paul McGann shoes.
Oh God.
Connor's the right shoe. I'm the left shoe.
Yeah, so we fill in the gaps as to how he dresses and how he finds
I
us
always
particular
dress
pairs
for the occasion.
How he finds us as a particular pair and goes right, left foot and right foot.
Well,
Yeah, spoiler
we
alert.
make the stomping noises ourselves.
Yeah.
Just like the side.
Imagine we walk like.
Are they releasing
Paul.
this?
It is a audio. I think they recorded
With audience
it originally.
noise.
Audience noise. Yay!
The
Enhanced sound effects.
the doctor's like, well, have we got an audience watching us?
Yes. Well, this is the thing. It's 25 years. This is their first sort of live
25 years long. Fucking hell.
audience's performance. Yeah. 99 they started. This is their first sort of public performance.
Yeah.
It's all been behind closed doors. This was done, recorded back in March and April, as each release on the wonderful Nicholas Brigg website tells you for further information.
Oh, so this one's already been recorded and ready to.
Yeah.
So
It comes out the same day. If we couldn't make it, it comes out on the same day.
Ah.
But we've got the privilege, and perhaps the only time, maybe once every 25 years, of actually seeing them do their magic.
I mean, Paul McGann is a fountain of youth, so he will last another 25 years.
Guaranteed.
At least.
Guaranteed.
At least.
Yeah.
If he still looks that good at 85, then we have to start a witch hunt because.
And his DNA.
Yeah. We have to. He'll be like Mystique in Days of Future Past. We'll have to siphon his DNA.
His DNA.
I need blood samples.
And then you have to move on to his Sonny and Jake and whatever his siblings are. Not sounding too stalkerish.
Stephen, Mark, Paul, Noel, Liam, John,
Gallagher.
George, Ringo. I'm getting confused.
Yeah, who are we talking about? I was lost.
I was lost. Like the show Lost. But yeah, fucking hell, don't watch it. Do you know what though? In terms of Doctor Who speaking, in terms of the Doctor Who speaky section.
Yeah, who's speaky?
I got back from the home of Doctor Who.
Oh.
Gallifrey. No.
Barry Island. No.
We did go there.
We did go to Barry Island.
God, love it.
You
Missed Gavin and Stacey filming by 1 week.
Ah, no. 1 week.
Started yesterday.
Ah.
And they're filming on Barry Beach. I think they were filming on like the beachfront yesterday, and they're doing stuff down Trinity Street, which is where Stacey's house is in Barry. That
Barry.
had signs up closed for the 3rd and the 4th, I think. So yeah, they're doing that. Yeah, between that and then the 17th and that. So they're all like this week, and I think small production like that, it's not that long a shoot.
Right.
Because I think if it was on Netflix, I don't know if Gavin and Stacey still is on Netflix, but there was a.
I feel like it always is. It's always on one of the services, guaranteed. Even the iPlayer, I think, always has it.
Yeah, because on that they had the film in the Christmas special, like the original Christmas special sort of bonus thing, and the turnaround for the production on that is shut up. And turnaround for the production on that is
Shut up.
Is not very long.
Yeah.
Because it's like I want to say it was done in like 100 days, if that. Like the whole production is in because it's only one episode, so.
Yeah, it's still amazing though how much one episode can still take really over 3 months of finishing and producing and magicking and everything.
The most shocking thing is that James Corden's being nice.
Oh wow!
Do you reckon it's because he knows that his career, as he knows it, is at an end? He's got no more Late Show. It's the final ever episode. It's called Gavin and Stacey, the final episode.
Oh dear!
So,
But will we find out what happened on the fishing trip?
I hope not, because
never ever.
Because that's one of the things. That's just a thing that it is, isn't it? It's just like, oh well,
thing
the
that
fishing
happened.
trip.
It's a nexus point of Gavin and Stacey.
That is true.
it's a
It is a
nexus
nexus
point.
point.
It's a nexus point.
It just has to exist
in every universe, in every timeline.
Because in terms of Gavin and Stacey, are you a fan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Your thoughts on the recent Christmas special that was 2019?
2019. It still feels a bit more recent than 5 years ago.
5 years already. That's mental.
I mean, I've liked all of it. I say it was just one of those that I watched with my mum. My mum, it was kind of at the right age, and I kind of, not first remember. I was kind of like not uninterested.
It was 2007, 2008. 2008, 2009, 2010.
I believe.
Or 2007. Sorry, 2007, 2008, 2009, and the final episode
Was
of
New Year's Day
series
2010?
Exactly, series 3 was New Year's
the
Day.
dawn of the new decade.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what they called it.
But not the last ever.
approach begins.
The dawn of the new decade. The then last ever episode.
You could choose between Smithy and Nessa, or David Tennant trying to shoot Timothy Dalton. That was New Year's Day 2010.
Oh wow!
What a day!
What a momentous day!
What a momentous day!
What happened to time?
What happened to time?
Jesus.
Fucking what's occurring with time? There we go. So originally, the final ever episode, because it was like, yep,
Yeah,
and
that
it's
was the
done,
final
and
ever
it's
one.
never going to come back, and that was fine. But then, like all good things,
They never finish.
It's like, oh, we're gonna, especially in the era now that people just come back and do stuff that they've not done. Like, Michael Keaton came back as Batman for The Flash. Fucking shouldn't have, but but let's,
I mean, Beetlejuice 2, should that have been a thing? Find out next week, perhaps?
Yeah, well, we'll actually do, because I did send you the text, but I did send it like yesterday of like Michael Keaton performances. Maybe we'll do that in
We can
in
do, in like a post
Beetlejuice
like
post Beetlejuice world.
post Beetlejuice world. Yeah. I mean, been there, done that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You clam for it, and I think it's one of those things that, when you get those things, it's like, something comes back and it's like, I would have been happy with this 2 or 3 years after it originally stopped.
Yeah.
Like, I think once it got past like 2013, 2014, you're kind of then going,
Yeah. You accept it at that point.
yeah, you accept it of like, it's never coming back.
Yeah.
Like you do with a lot of things, because once they stop, nothing lasts forever. Look, time is, a construct, it's futile, and, everything is pointless. There is a finite amount of time until we spin off of this mortal plane, and we have to exist forever in this nether realm somewhere, and probably listen to fucking Jared Leto music if you're in hell. Jesus Christ.
Unless you work for NetherRealm Studios making Mortal Kombat fatalities.
Unless you... Small start. The big finish.
Yet to have happened. Or yet to become.
It's all a dream. But yeah, like when it announced it, because I think it was on Insta, like it was like this year. Like it's like, oh, me and Ruth have been keeping a secret, and we've been writing a special. See you at Christmas, and then Christmas Day comes 2019, and everyone sort of goes, "Oh, is that it?"
Yeah.
Because it ended on a cliffhanger again, and everyone going like, "Is it going to be a series 4?" Obviously not. But that only really happened because James was finishing up with the Late Late Show, so he could actually make more Gavin and Stacey. There was always I think there's always been a thing of they've never ended it properly.
No. Nope.
Even though I think the final episode of Series 3, I think, does everything it needs to do.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
It leaves it in a place where Stacey's having kids, Nessa and Smithy have, like, recuperated together, and they're going to, try and make it work for baby Neil's sake and stuff.
Neil,
and you just think, it was just like a
baby.
nice snapshot of this is where we leave everyone. And yes, it would have been nice to pop in now and again. You could have done that on Comic Relief or Children in Need, just like a quick 5-minute thing.
Well, hey, Nicholas Brigg, if the Doctor Who license ever goes, you could do Big Finish, Gavin and Stacey. Big Finish it.
Fucking Dark Bryn Volume 1.
Dark Bryn.
The Gwen Diaries. Series 7. She's met William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton.
Jesus. Oh.
But yeah,
wow.
that's all, like, I think that done well. Coming back, it was kind of like because it was also when they've not played those characters for so long.
Yeah,
you physically can't slip back into that, and also
without forcing it.
Everyone was, at least 9 years. I mean, from when they filmed it, at least 9 years older.
Yeah.
Than when they were on it last. It does, because sadly, like Doris, the lady who plays Doris, I forget her name, but amazing Welsh actress who's done a lot, and they paid tribute to her. She passed away in 2011.
Oh wow!
So they make reference to her in the newest one, like they
Margaret John.
Yeah, she was Grandma Connolly, I believe, in Doctor Who's bloody Idiot's Lantern.
What?
I think.
Oh, really?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, she'd passed away. Everyone's a lot old,
Yeah, you're right, Granny Connolly. Yeah, you got it all right. Jesus.
Bloody Mick and Pam. They're a lot, Larry Lamb is now, in his late 70s, I believe. And it's you want to remember, as shit as the process is of, everyone ages. It's a fact. We are all mortal. None of us are Time Lords. Small start coming soon. But, you kind of want to remember those characters as they were,
Of course. Yeah.
like leave it there. And then and it just didn't feel like it. It was like, we've got to do this. We've got to have, because also if that was going to be the final episode, you left a lot of things tied up. There was a lot of, they referenced the fishing trip again, and it was the whole thing of, we're finally going to tell you, and we get interrupted again. It's like,
Psych.
You've now got the kids to contend with, that we've now, we've got no connection to the kids, because last we knew Stacey was pregnant, and now, she's got, 3 kids, and it's like, but we've not seen that progression kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just happened because the pen on the paper says.
Yeah, because it's nearly 10 years later, and that's obviously what's happened. Like, Neil the baby's got on. They're all at different stages in their life, and it feels like you're just.
We need a small start to fill in the in between.
Exactly that.
We do. We would like to fill in the in between.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah, no, I feel. But
hopefully this one does it justice, and it's a thing of like, we can actually leave it there, because then
permanently.
Because then it's going to be. It was 3 consecutive years, then a 9-year gap, then a 5-year gap. So when you watch it all back to back, it's going to be like, what the fuck happened? But like, kids watching it on streaming are going to be like, what happened between these episodes?
Yeah, what happened to time? Like, why do they look so much older?
To time. And apparently James Corden's directing the last one.
Oh wow, is he?
Apparently so, because he's been seen apparently directing the final.
Has he directed things before, or is this a first for him?
I don't know. I mean, he could probably direct it. It's his show, so. But also the fact of like, there's been I think a standard director, like as in not like standards in like they're just like a bog standard level, but in terms of, I think, the woman who directed it has directed near enough every single episode.
Oh right, like consistently.
Yeah, so it's had a even that, like, it's had a consistent
Christine
feel.
Christine Gernon? Or Gernon?
Connor is furiously Wikipedia. Like, I've never seen him move so.
Christine Gernon. Season 1, all done by Christine.
Is it all Christine Gernon?
Season 2 is Christine. The special was Christine. Yeah.
Yep.
Christine. I'm begging of you not to direct this episode because it's me.
So we don't know. We don't officially know if it's. But I feel like, because we drove. I mean, as people that were in Wales, last week, we drove. So we had a break in Wales.
In reality.
And in reality, we stopped. We stopped existing for a couple of days.
You were recharging at the fucking.
We were at the Rift.
Yeah, exactly, the Rift.
Yeah.
I forgot the name, but the Rift. Yeah.
Saw Yano, still did.
Still did.
But we had a day in Barry Island, so we could spend it on the beach, and it was honestly a really lovely day. Like, it was hot but not too hot. You had a nice breeze, like chilled out. But obviously, like on the way back, it's like, we're gonna swing past some of the plates. So obviously, like, we've done it before, but like, because it's there, like, and it's there's imminent filming. It was just a bit of a buzz around the town. It's like, everyone's happy that they're it's gonna. Barry's going to be on screen one more time, because say what we will about the BBC in the early 2000s, but Doctor Who and Gavin and Stacey and other things, like, I think Casualty still filmed over there and whatever, put Wales on the map in terms of production wise. Like, it made BBC Wales, everyone saw Doctor Who as being shipped out to BBC Wales kind of thing of like, oh, they're not putting a lot of effort into it, but it put Cardiff on the map. Like, it's still surreal to me, and I and even like being about it's like, these are places I've seen on TV, and you feel this connection to it.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
It's so you know exactly what I mean. Like, when you see it, and it's kind of like
I would like to go there.
Wow.
Yeah, I would.
We'll have to do a trip. We'll have to do a trip. But yeah, because and they had the signs up, so we swung past some of the houses. So we because it's a big fucking steep hill, Trinity Street. It's literally like that. And it's like, oncoming, so it's like, you've got to give way in that and let people through. So, like, you could see that the trucks were were already in the street.
In position, yeah.
Like, with the stuff, and, like, you could see people outside. Because there's a Gavin and Stacey tour.
Oh.
So, like, it's the people that actually have Dave Coaches' bus. They'll take you on it. They'll take you around to various locations. We wanted to do it, but they wouldn't let you take buggies on there, so which would have been fine. But once he got tired, it's been like, then we've got nowhere to fucking put him, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the resolution. You've got to go back in years to come, maybe 10, 5 years now. Like the Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah, we'll go back in 9 years and then 5 years.
You've got to make him do it, whether he wants to or not.
That's true.
You're going to make him do it.
But, like, the woman who lives in the house on Trinity Street, like, So like that's part of the tour. Like you get to go in the house and like sit on the sofa and that. And there's loads of memorabilia, obviously, where people have been there and they've done it over the years. And like Marco's Cafe down by the seafront, they've got pictures of the cast like with the staff and that, because that's where they film and they always talk about Marco's and things like that.
Oh.
And you've got the arcade. We went in the slots, and like the bit where the kiosk is full of like merch and stuff. Like it's great. Like there's a real buzz of the fact of like this, like shows like this. And I said it to Lara when we were down there. I was like, it's really nice to know that like things like this have really brought tourism to like,
yeah.
Because you think
1,000,000%.
Cardiff in like 2004. When you see like the bay and stuff, like there wasn't a like
buzz about it.
There wasn't a buzz about it. There wasn't a lot going on, but stuff like that then it brings people there to come and see that, which brings more tourism, which brings more money into the place. And Cardiff Bay now is just, it's great. It's been done up. There's loads of fucking restaurants. My only complaint is that in 2017 they closed the
Doctor Who, like what experience?
They closed the Doctor Who experience, obviously.
Yeah.
So that I think has maybe done some tourism down a bit. Because obviously it was only a 5-year lease on the thing, but I think if it makes enough money through Disney, something like that will come. Something like that will come back.
Come on, Bad Wolf Bay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Russell, for all the bad, good, whatever you think he does, I think he will push for it to be back in Cardiff. Because I went to it in when it first opened in London in 2010, and then 2012 it got moved to Cardiff and had a permanent thing, and then for the anniversary made a big thing, and then the cast started doing handprints and signings and things like that. I managed to go just before it closed in 2017, so there was like, it was all the stuff, and it was a lot bigger than I remember in 2010, obviously, because when I went it was Series 5, and as I went, like Series 10 was happening, so you had like the Series 10 costumes like just at the end, which was really strange, like, oh, well, we done these as well, like last week, and even then it felt like a bit dour and stuff, but like going there then, I'm like, and even going there now and going there because we went a couple of years ago as well, it's the thing of like, I would have loved to have been around like the buzz like from 2005 to like 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
I bet down here, because every year they would be filming down here. Then obviously like last few years and Jodie and stuff, it's been, you know, there's been big gaps and stuff, like just to have that buzz of like Doctor Who's like down, like it's like this is where they do Doctor Who, like you get that tourism thing.
You're in Doctor Who country.
There was the in the thing of shops, like not shops, like restaurant bits, like this was before it was done up, so this was about 7 years ago. Like you had the American diner where they filmed the interior scenes for Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon, and like you would go and sit in that diner and sit in the Doctor's booth. Like you'd go through all that, like that's sadly closed down.
Boo.
Things like that, because at that time, like it wasn't like there wasn't enough popularity in the show at that point, because it was sort of in a bit of a lull. But then hopefully with this, there seems to be a bit of renewed interest. I'm not sure if Bad Wolf Studios is built on that same bit of the dock, sort of near where Rockloaf Studios, the BBC Wales bit, is. Because I know that they still do Casualty and stuff up there. But yeah, it's not. It's just nice that these places have got, one, loads of lovely people that live there. You know, two, they're doing a booming trade, because it is a beautiful part of the country to go to. I mean, it's its own country, but in terms of the UK, I think,
absolutely go to it.
I think if it's on a sunny day like we had, like there is no better beach day I've had than that one on Barry, kind of thing.
Nice.
And I implore you to travel to the places. I always wanted to go there. I got there about 10 years later than I wish I had, but like I've been a couple of times since, and you just get a feeling of like, almost like it's like, it sounds sad, but like it's almost like a connection of, because we've grown up like watching, like, you know, the Doctor lands in Card, like you say, like it's the Rift, like Torchwood is set there, like you know, that became a show that then was there but shot in, like, you know, it was openly shot in Cardiff, like it was set in Cardiff as well, so it's like, this is putting this place on the map. Like, so you walk past this place and you're like, wow, like I feel like I've, you know,
you feel like
I've lived a life here.
A portion of you is there. Yeah, no, 1,000,000%. But that's like, not to compare it or to downgrade it or to shit on anyone else's opinions, but that's like, you know, I'm thinking more abroad viewers looking at, I mean, I don't know why Essex came to mind, but like Towery and Australia, programs in Australia, like, I don't know, even I'm a Celeb not to say for the jungle, be like, oh my god, that's the jungle at Armstrong. Oh my god, the Bush Tucker Trials. Yeah, it's not physically the same sense as towns, sites, things to see, landmarks. But there's so many other examples that people can probably sound off in the comments, perhaps, where you've watched a show where they filmed it in, say, Australia, New Zealand. I'm trying to think somewhere isn't England. But then because you've watched a couple programs in that area, when you visit those spots, you'll be like, oh yeah, I feel like I've been here. But I can't think of anything as significant on top of my head. But no, absolutely, Doctor Who, Cardiff, Wales, Gavin and Stacey. That I want to go to Wales because of those two shows. I do want to just see the sights and feel like I'm there.
Maybe we'll have to do there and do like a sort of like mini vlog thing, because we stayed in the St David's Hotel, which I think until more recent years, so I think pre 2013, I believe, I'm not sure. You'll have to go back and look at the DVD extras because I'm 90% sure that's where it is. So you go in the St David's Hotel, lovely hotel, really fucking nice staff, nice pool. Like you go in to the left, it has conference rooms, and I'm 90% sure that that's where they would do a lot of the script readings originally in there before they would do it in Rock Life Studios, and now through the media stuff we know they do it in the Bad Wolf Studios in the big, like one of the big studio hangars, like with the blacked out cloth like around it. So now they do it in them studios, but before them I'm almost certain they used to be in there, and that's around the area where they would stay when they were filming Doctor Who, like for those 9 months, because there's a floor that's just like apartments to stay in instead of rooms, and you've got apartment sort of blocks like in the building over and stuff like that. And when you look at all the stuff in Confidential when Russell's like in his office and that, and you can see it there, like it's the same angles. And also, fun fact, the hotel appears as that's where Owen and Gwen start their affair in Torchwood. Like it's in one of those, yeah. So back in 2006,
you had a
place
real
to be.
good place, intimate connection in Cardiff.
There you go.
Big up Cardiff.
Big it up, by Jove. Anyway, that was a long talk about tourism. But yeah, Gavin and Stacey, we hope it ends well.
One day it shall end. Yes, one day.
So do you want to, because we're sort of going to prelude like Beetlejuice next week.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about something? Because I've never really dabbled in Big Finish. Like not like a big like idiot Skype, but sort of like if you had to pick a few stories, whether it be like your favourites or like ones that you should definitely listen to, kind of things.
All right. Well, I can sort of.
You can't just say Paul McGann. Listen to Paul McGann.
What if I told you I was going to save him for last? No, I got into... I mean, I've discussed it previously, but I got into Big Finish because of the Doctor we never saw on screen more than once.
I'm going to try and find a DVD extra to prove that that's the hotel. You carry on.
No, I got into because of Paul McGann, but also because of the infamous Colin Baker, the colourful Rainbow Doctor that never really got an ending, and he just played by the next Doctor in the week, so he never got an ending. So they were the two main motivations as to why I eventually sought Big Finish out, because I just wanted to see Colin get actual justice in his ending and a sort of redemption in his character arc, and then Paul McGann because he's the Doctor that we never ever saw more than the once time in America, and that went really really well back in 1996. Thank you very much for not watching. But anyway, Big Finish, without giving an overview, they basically acquired the classic license. Oh dear, what is that saved? Is that on the Cardiff tour? Is that a photo that the members of staff can see?
No, that was. I'm going through David Tennant's video diaries for Series 4 because I'm sure the specials it's the clearest shot of it. That's like they do Doctor Who tours in Wales like they did before when it was at Rock Life. You could do the Doctor Who experience, but also book a tour for like various locations like around Wales and stuff where they've done outside filming like the Parliament building and things like that, and they would take you like. You could book to go on the the Capaldi Smith like spinny helicopter TARDIS set. You could actually go on it.
Oh.
But I don't know if that's still a thing because obviously now it would be at Rock Life, so Bad Wolf Studio, so I don't know if that's still a thing. But then maybe like we could do one of them tours or sort of do our own tour. Like be like, let's try and find a Doctor Who element from an episode we remember and just like furiously Googling things.
Make our own little commentary.
Carry on, Big Finish.
No, 1999. They acquired basically the classic Who license, and originally, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester
They
McCoy.
acquired Peter Davison.
5, 6, and
They
7
stole him.
started the company, started the wonderful journey off. But essentially, quick side note, they did so. The monthly adventures is like the OG original range back from 1999, but if you're on Spotify, and I believe SoundCloud, but I know for definite Spotify is confirmed.
Spotify have a lot of free ones, don't they? Like older ones.
The original 50 releases are on there to listen to for free, and I thought they would have been taken down because this has been up there since at least 2011-12 time. But nope. Regardless, if you really want the OG early Big Finish experimental batshit crazy stuff, then I encourage you to listen to any one of the main ranges, like releases 1 to 50 on Spotify. Mainly range from between Peter, Colin and McCoy, but you do get the very first few Paul McGann audios on there as well. So by all means, 1 to 50, listen to your heart's content.
Listen to your heart's content.
But yeah, the main range is essentially the 80s Doctors dominating 2-hour audios, 4-part releases. 5, 6 and 7 get redemption essentially. But especially Colin, because like I say, he never got a fucking ending, but Colin, he gets a right glow up, and just Colin's wonderful. But so is Paul, and we're going to both tell them one day that they're both wonderful. But if you don't like the monthly Avengers, or if you find the 2-hour 4-part release a little bit too long at one time, you've perhaps got something shorter in the form of the Companion Chronicles, where any sort of alive cast member or crew from the original 4 Doctors, like so William, Pete, Patrick, John and Tom, Lala Walker, basically a companion from their eras, would come back, do a sort of narrated release, listen to a story from them. But then if you're more of a new Who fan, you want modern stuff, you've got like Big Finish do the Time War, you've got again the David Tennant box sets, the 10th Doctor Adventures, you've got Christopher Eccleston back in 2021, he signed a contract and you've got the Eccleston box sets, and you've got modern things like that. But then Big Finish do their own bunch of spin-offs. You've got classic Cyberman and Dalek range. Davros had a series. Davros would really recommend that. Mm-hmm. If you're a classic Who sort of historian, you've got Jago and Lightfoot. That's a wonderful series. 14 box sets though, a little bit on the expensive side, but that's a really fun set or range to listen to. If you're a fan of Alex Kingston as much as we are, then you've got the Diary of a Song and the never-ending saga of her.
The never-ending river.
Literally never-ending fucking river. But then, if you're talking spin-offs, if you not care about continuity, but you just want a good range, the War Master, where the Doctor isn't. Well, I say he isn't in every release, but he's not the protagonist. And you're not
it's Sir Derek Jacobi.
Yeah.
How is he as the War Master? Because that was correct me if I'm wrong, because my Big Finish limited. My Big Finish knowledge is very limited.
Fine.
Like it's something I've always wanted to get into, but as we know, they've now stopped the monthly releases, and it's the
exactly.
It's the box sets.
2021,
kind of
they stopped the monthly stuff.
So it's quite expensive, especially now to get into in terms of like you're gonna have to buy them by series and things like that. And you get like if you're into those from the start, like please go and like support it, anything like this, because it started as a small thing and it's grown into a really fucking not just a big business in terms of like the way they make, but in terms of the fact of like they can attract the stars, like just of Doctor Who, but like the licenses they have, like they're quite good at that.
Exactly, they go beyond Doctor Who.
The Avengers,
not Marvel Avengers. Blake 7 had a continuation. Dorian Gray, if you care about Dorian Gray. Dark Shadows. I'm just scrolling through the website briefly. Mega Fact, I don't know what any of these are. You got Big Finish do Robin Hood. You got Nicholas Briggs as Sherlock Holmes. What more do you want? Space 1999. Star Trek, Stargate. Here we go.
And it's also nice because like they fill in the gaps in continuity, but also like you can accept them for continuity, or you can just accept them for like they're this thing on the side. Because like you had obviously the continuation of like the Doctors and stuff, but then you've gone back and they've sort of crossed over in things. You had like the Time Lord Victorious, however successful or unsuccessful that whole event
multimedia. That was you had books, you had DVDs,
Doomsday,
you had
whatever it was.
Finish. Doomsday, that was less successful.
But I think the War Master, if correct me if I'm wrong, come about more through the fact that we sadly lost John Hurt. because they'd started
Yeah.
some more Doctor stuff.
So John Hurt did 4 box sets around 2015, 16, 17 time. I think
Yeah.
17 was the last release.
Because I think 17 or 18 he passed away.
I think it was 17, which coincides with the 4th release and final John Hurt box set. But yeah, I think you're right. They did film a couple of John Hurt, Derek Jacobi, like War Doctor versus War Master sets. So then that kind of had to be not just recycled and dedicated to Paul McGann, because there is a couple box sets in the War Master range where Paul McGann's Doctor does appear. Whether or not that was going to be John Hurt, we'll never know. But those, I think, ideas and concepts that they probably did use with John Hurt were kind of remeshed and rejigged to be with Paul McGann.
Yeah. And obviously, like, then they used the sort of aspect of like an older incarnation that we hadn't seen in using. Oh, we'll bring back Derek Jacobi, which was then sort of another
wonderful move. But also, I think as far as Big Finish doing, I'm trying to think purely of Doctor Who spin-offs and other
this is
War Master was like the biggest.
if you're going to listen to
launch,
it's mainly the Doctor Who stuff we're aiming at, because that's what started it.
And it's their biggest driving market. I'm not saying people won't be at the Cadogan Hall and be dressed up as Star Trek and Sherlock Holmes, and even though they're coming to a Doctor Who place, that would be a bit bizarre and out of place if they do go retro.
Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get people dressed up Cybermen, yet it's a Dalek story.
We haven't had Matt Smith or Capaldi.
No, they haven't signed officially with them.
Because Because I think we were talking before, like probably on the podcast a few years ago, there is kind of there's almost like a deal in place, isn't there? The fact that the current Doctor can't appear in Big Finish.
There is something along those lines.
It has to be a certain amount of time before they can get them, because I think David was a little while after his tenure. Obviously, Chris was a long time because we never knew if he was coming back. Jodie has recently, it was announced that her and
Mandip Gill
are coming back as the Doctor. We're getting some Doctor and Yaz adventures, great, which will be a start next year, isn't it?
Yeah, early 2025.
So that's 3 years after. That'll be 3 years after she stopped being the Doctor on TV. So it's I'm guessing at least a couple of years after being the Doctor.
It's like a 3-year turnaround, I think, something like that, where they can't legally use like the then current Doctor.
Yeah.
But then once those...
And then current images of TARDIS, Daleks, things like that.
Yeah.
That kind of licensing.
There's a bit of a grey area in that sense. But no, we haven't had Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, unfortunately, but we've had every actor
I think Capaldi's the biggest shame.
Yeah, damn straight. You do brilliant.
Because I'd love 12 and Bill to have some more adventures, because obviously we only got a series of them. I wouldn't mind having no adults.
To count the 3-year thing, we had Joe Martin sign.
Joe Martin. We've got a Master series with Sacha Dhawan as well.
Yeah.
They're all the elements of the Jodie era are coming back.
Yeah.
Because Jacob Dudman does a lot of voicing of
Smith and Capaldi,
which started through him doing YouTube videos of him doing impressions of him. So yeah, I think his Smith's a lot better than his
Capaldi's. I think that's the normal consensus.
Oh, yeah, because he did Tennant as well for a while, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I think he did like one
before
or two
David
sets.
came back, and
right.
now David's sort of in the full swing.
He's owning it. Yeah, he does everything.
Because I think that's the beauty of it, is that we get these Doctors back, because obviously regardless, you can just make.
And obviously you've had recastings. You've had recastings, obviously, for the Doctors that we don't have, in the form of Hartnell, Troughton, and Pertwee. Like we've had Troughton's son David Troughton.
Oh, David Troughton's actually played.
He's playing his father. And then you've got...
Has Sean played John?
Not Sean. John Coleshaw is doing...
John Coleshaw for his impressionist, but yeah.
Who was Third Doctor, but now I think he's Brigadier.
He's Brigadier now, yeah.
So it might be Tim Treloar doing Third Doctor.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the father son, because Sadie Miller now voices Sarah Jane.
Sarah Jane's real life daughter is Sarah Jane, and that was a kind of a long turnaround. That wasn't until COVID, let's say 2020-ish time.
I think that sort of come round, and it had been enough time then to sort of
honour her,
because Sarah Jane is a character that is timeless and forever loved, and probably if you're going to ask 90% of Doctor Who fans, Sarah Jane's probably the
one you think
archetypal
of,
companion, really, isn't she?
If you're really classic, you can say Jamie McCrimmon as well.
Yeah, I think. But in terms of all of Doctor Who, I think it would be her.
Sarah.
She got her own show, for God's sake, you know what I mean? But
the Romano Adventures.
I think when it's that kind of character, to have it then be like a relation, because then that person, Sadie knows her mother, even though sadly her mother's been gone for 13 years now, which is fucking Jesus Christ.
It makes us old.
Time is a juggernaut of us all. But it's like she knows and knew her mother better than anyone, so like she could more convincingly do it than an impressionist would.
Yeah.
Whereas like as good as John Coltrane is at impressions, and some people would say that maybe he's not that great at impressions, but like he's a big Doctor Who fan, so like he does give a lot. I know he gives a lot when he does like these things.
Yeah.
Like he does like, Dead Ringers isn't the best example, but like when he did like Pertwee and Tom Baker impressions on there, it's like no, you got like the gist of what he was doing. Like
the consensus,
the
vibe.
It's the broad strokes to then let your mind and your ears do
Fill
the rest
in
of
the
it.
rest.
It's a bit like when Nick Briggs did Chris Eccleston impressions. Hello,
Yeah, for a while.
I'm the Doctor. Say, what's going on round here? Sort of thing. It's like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily, because obviously, like you say, like the first three Doctors in reality are no longer with us. So, like we used to have the short strips read by their companions, which was like another angle.
And companion chronicle ranges. Yes. That's just more. Yeah,
that's
audio
also a way
book.
to get around it, because you get you get what's his name, fucking Fraser Hines to do
Hines,
to be Jamie to read.
Wendy
the story.
Padbury, Deborah Watling did a handful of few before she passed away. And then Caroline John did a handful as well before she went.
Yeah, she's gone as well.
And then
Jesus.
Katie Manning is like a kind of a
fucking protect Katie Manning at all costs.
She's like
'cause
she's the dark horse. She's
Katie
done
Manning's
so much.
the
Had
like,
her own spin-off.
She should have had her own spin-off as well, like a TV spin-off.
Oh, 1,000,000%. I mean, one day we could even bring Irish Wild Time to screen.
I think that's what Sarah Jane would have become, like possibly
Yeah.
if it was done in another time. Like they would have just been like, because that's what Russell didn't want it to become. It's like now it's like the Joe Grant adventures kind of thing. Like
1,000,000%.
someone doesn't just come in and take over, but like at some point someone could move into Bannerman Road and that whole world could open up again. But that kind of also, Sarah Jane kind of led the way for that kind of thing in terms of like, well, what would classic characters be doing in the modern times?
Yeah.
You get mentions of Ian and Barbara, and Ace was going to be in series 5 kind of thing. So like that whole thing of like there is a story as long as there's a story to tell. Like we do take the piss that like, Big Finish, we love money, but like
they do love their stories.
They do love their stories,
They
and
do
that's
love
what
their stories.
drives it. And like as much as I can't afford to spend 60 quid on a box set like every few months or whatever. I would love to be able to, and I'd love to immerse myself more in it. So maybe we get to a point where like I'll try some of the ones that you like
Would suggest.
Yeah. So if you
From-
you've got ranges there.
Oh, enough ranges for sure.
If you had to give me,
Yeah,
it can be your favourite or it can be ones you have to listen to. But like five
a must.
like single Big Finish
Single-ish
stories.
releases. Yeah.
What would you say these are like your essential Big Finish? Because I hear like your Chimes of Midnight and things like that. Good
Yes,
ones.
well said.
Yes.
Yes, no, very well said. Yeah, Chimes of Midnight is, as soon as you Google Big Finish, you probably see Chimes of Midnight in the same sentence. I think that was 2002. That kind of was the one that put them on the map and is on
Like their
everyone's
first
mind.
big,
oh my god, this is
how good
cluster
audio dramas
big
can
hit.
be.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
changed the landscape sort of thing.
Was there one called Jubilee or something?
Yeah, because that's Dalek, Robert Sherman, sort of borrowed.
Same writer, yeah.
Yeah, he did Jubilee.
Elements of his own story, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that because it's also Paul Cornell did that with Human Nature, Family of Blood because he originally done the comic for Doctor Who magazine.
Adventure. Well, I thought that was a novel.
I think it was a novel and it was a Doctor Who,
And then a
like it
comic.
was used in Doctor Who magazine, and also like the Lodger was taken from
something.
a
Yes.
comic strip that was going to have the Doctor stay with Mickey when he was David Tennant, and they readjusted it, thankfully, and then he stayed with James Corden, which was it's only mildly like worse or better depending on
your stance. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But then James Corden, as far as we know, hasn't done any of that to women. He's just been a massive knobhead.
Oh dearie me.
It's a minefield, Ace. All right, so
Yes.
Chimes of Midnight is which Doctor?
Paul McGann. Of course it's Paul. Of course it's my man Paul.
Why did I think it was Peter?
No, Peter. No, Chimes of Midnight with Peter.
Is there one? There's a Cyberman one with Peter, isn't there?
Yes. Do you want to guess the name? I sort of went with
With
an S.
It begins with an S.
Yes, and the second word begins with a P, so it's SP. And it's not single player.
Super Patrol Earth Defense.
No, just Super Patrol. It's 2 words, so Super Patrol. No, it's just 2 words.
It's just 2 words.
Like SP.
Sonic Penis.
Absolutely not. We're trying to get us cancelled. This is a small
No,
start.
I'm commissioning that. This is small start. Sonic penis.
Sonic penis.
It's when the Doctor first invents the sonic screwdriver and he gets it a bit wrong.
Oh dear.
Oh, goodness me, Susan, I'm bloody massive. What is it called?
Spare parts.
Yes, I've heard good things, because isn't spare parts, I think some of that's been used in, like, you know, another Doctor Who, like, Cyberman.
I'd like to think, yeah.
I think it's taken inspiration, like, some
even
things have taken
like
inspiration
Rise
from
of
spare
Cyberman,
parts.
Age of Steel, I think borrowed elements from spare parts. And
Might have been that.
Because again, that was another 2002. I mean, 2002. If you haven't figured it out, that was the year of Big Finish bangers.
Big Finish bangers.
Yeah, Chimes Midnight, spare parts, both from that year.
So that's 2.
That's one Peter, one
One Peter and
Paul
Paul.
McGann, both on Spotify for free. So you've got 2 of the freebies. It's good. So good shout so
So
far.
2 of what you would say, you know,
Essential...
now that's what I call Big Finish.
Now that is what I call a big, gigantic finish. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through.
You don't have to necessarily do 1 per Doctor. It's just like,
No,
in terms
no,
of,
no,
like,
no,
if you
no.
had to do, like, you know, like when someone says to you, how would you introduce someone who's never seen Doctor Who? Like, what episode would you show them? And it's like Rose, 11th Hour, and then really fuck with them, Day of the Doctor.
I could squeeze 3 in 1. There was a villains trilogy.
I've heard of that.
Omega, Davros, and Master. And then, that one.
I've heard of that. Is that good?
Yeah, but you definitely need to listen to all the Pauls beforehand. So if you're going to do this Greyus, release number 50 on Spotify, brilliant, yeah, it's free, you don't have to pay a single dime for it. You're definitely going to have to listen to all the Paul and Charlie adventures in order. You cannot absolutely celebrate the 40th anniversary and jump deep into Greyus because it completely deconstructs the show and it will probably make you want to jump off a cliff and question your life.
Hooray!
It's a lovely story. It's just a very trippy story, and it isn't one that I would say, yeah, go and listen to Sagraria. So when you get past the initiate Big Finish graduate stage, when you get past state entry level 1, then perhaps you can then do Sagraria. But one that, you know what, 7th Doctor one, The Harvest introduces Hex,
Okay.
Philip Schofield.
Oh, Jesus.
No, not that.
Oh, not that one.
No, not that one. I'm sure his
that.
name's Philip Schofield, but conveniently not that one. But that's another Sideman story.
I can hear Mike typing his comment immediately.
No. I'll correct myself if I've got the name wrong, but I'm sure it's a different Philip Schofield. Where are we? Spare parts. What the fuck's it called? The Harvest. I've clicked on the wrong thing. Oh, why did I get Philip Schofield? Because his surname is Schofield. It's Philip Olivier, but the character's Hex Schofield. That's where I got Schofield from.
Okay. We've merged the two.
Yeah, we have merged the two. Sorry, the character's Schofield.
Come up with a very problematic thing there.
Very problematic thing. That's a fun sort of Cyberman story, modern day, but it's set in a hospital, and it kind of, I guess, again, is this before Rise of Cybermen, Age of Steel? Yeah, 2004. Yes, this is prior to that. So prior to season 2, yeah, I guess it was another way to look at and evolve the Cybermen in a more modern day setting, but still had the classic retro feel of Sylvester McCoy and Ace, whilst introducing a new companion. And he goes on a bit of an arc, which I've not done.
A Genesis arc.
A Genesis arc for sure. Nightfalls, where are we? I'm trying to think of a Colin now.
So you've done...
I've said 5, 6, 7. So, yeah, Spare Parts, The Harvest, 2 Sideman ones, but that's not on purpose. Chimes for Midnight, because that's a must. And then Jubilee.
Jubilee.
Yeah, Jubilee. Not like the X-Men.
No Jubilation Lee.
No Jubilation Lee. Oh, no.
Is there a Colin Baker one called Carrot Juice?
Absolutely not.
I've heard of Project Twilight.
Yeah, because that's essentially the first of a big arc. There's Project Twilight, Project Lazarus, and Destiny, but then that's essentially breaking the audio universe, and so many things lead into that arc. So if you're going to do the project stuff, you kind of need to know your shit regarding Sylvester's and Colin's releases, because they both kind of intertwine into each other, from what I understand. I'm still in terms of the Evelyn saga, I'm on the Silurian story. Where are we? Blood Tide? And from what I did listen to that the other night, that is a fun one. Essentially, Sixth Doctor and Evelyn Smythe, the best original Big Finish character going. Rest in peace, Maggie Stables. Passed away back in 2011. That seems to be a thing this episode. But no, Sixth Doctor, Silurians, on a spaceship, on a boat. That's definitely not Legends of the Sea Devils inspired, but much better from what I'm getting.
No, Legends of the Sea Devils is great.
Oh, 10 out of 10 story. Amazing. So yeah, Blood Tide. Fuck it. That's just say Blood Tide. Even though I'm still listening to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it early. A lot of these ones I mentioned are, apart from The Harvest, they're free on Spotify, so you haven't got to pay a single dime for them. An early David Tennant one, Medicinal Purposes. He plays as like.
Isn't that one of it? Because he was various voices in Big Finish before he was in Doctor Who as Doctor Who.
He was evil Nazi scientist in Colditz, which introduces another character, Klein, and then she goes on later on to have a trilogy of Seventh Doctor stuff. But yes, Colditz, that's a good one on Spotify as well. Colditz. World War II, Nazi Germany, they win the war. They've got an experiment to change all of time. And
to win the war?
David Tennant's an evil villain. That's, yes, Colditz. That's an amazing one. Yeah, because once you get past release number 50, releases 51 to 100 on the monthly range are £2.99 from the website. So, I mean, a lot of them are more on the affordable end. But once you get past release 100 into the 100, 150 mark, they then go up to $7.99 each. And then I'm guessing from what will release 150 to 200, then does it go up again, or where are we with this? Yeah, $12.99. Yeah, so essentially there was 275 of the original monthly range or main range releases, and that ended around 2021 time. And then again, like we mentioned, you've got the Companion Chronicles. You have the short trips, which is kind of like if they are half-hour short stories that are kind of set in between, kind of nicking our concept, small starts.
Yeah.
Essentially, they are just stories for the sake of continuity, and they are inserted into very specific episodes and gaps. And look what really happened when the Doctor left Adric's remains in space and they went to Tegan at Heathrow Airport. What really happened? We'll find out in this one. Stuff like that. Short trips are fine, but there isn't one that I can specifically go like, oh, that's the one.
If you're going to dive into them, kind of do them all if you can.
Have to do, yeah. If I was to do a short trip, it'd be a lot of the Paul McGann Time War with Susan in the TARDIS.
Because Susan's got a thing, isn't she?
She had Susan's War, but that's getting a second box set, I think either later this year or early next year, where I think she's with Paul McGann again. But then, yeah, if you want like a modern Doctor in the form of Christopher Eccleston or Tennant, I can only go, if you're going to talk about Christopher Eccleston, I've only got one release in mind, or the one that I've listened to in full is, where are we? Ninth Doctor Collection. Recent. The one that I keep hearing about is actually the next one I've got to listen to for Christopher Eccleston is release number 3, or 1.3, depending on the sort of numbering, is the Cyberman Brigadier Lost Warriors. Lost Warriors, new take on Cybermen. It's essentially 3 stories into one box set. But the story that I think is the one that's worth listening to is The Monsters in Metropolis. Essentially, it takes you back to Berlin, 1927, when he's making what film is it? Fritz Lang, The Machine. Hang on, I should be a film buff, and I don't even know the name of the fucking film he made in 1927. Right. Fritz Lang, Metropolis. All right, it was called Metropolis. Essentially, Metal Man. Oh, come to life. Oh, essentially, Doctor Who does Metropolis. But it does it with the Cybermen, kind of like Silver Turk and Haunting of Villa Diodati.
Okay.
But with Eccleston and audio, and it's more in a historical setting. And it's Fritz Lang, but I don't know who's supposed to play Fritz Lang in that story. But essentially, it's the creation of that silent film, much beloved early sci-fi classic film, but with the Cybermen. But then that then leads into the end of the season 1 Christopher Eccleston box sets. I can't even talk. That leads into like the 4th box set, which then is a sort of a trilogy conclusion of Cyberman stories with the Mondasian Cybermen and Nicholas Courtney.
It's a Mondasian Cyberman. What, real Nicholas Courtney?
I don't think, no, not real Nicholas Courtney.
Did Nicholas Courtney ever do Big Finish?
Oh, he did. Yes.
Because he died in 2011.
He did, yes. You can search on the website like by cast member and actor.
That's cool.
I'm going to do that now.
For those of you that haven't got the Big Finish app or website to hand,
Yeah, if you're like a returning customer, not that I work for them or I'll have a word with Nick Brigg when we see him, but I kind of want to just say the new website wasn't particularly great. It was kind of more on the shite side, and and it weren't really. I don't know again why they had to change. I don't really know why, but it was that bad that the CEO had to put an apology statement and sort of revert it back to the old classic website. So that again, don't fix what's not broken, folks. Big Finish, unfortunately, you had to learn that the hard way.
Big Finish. We love to put things right.
No, he's with. It's not one I would recommend, but that's another freebie on Spotify. Paul McGann, Nicholas Courtney with Satan, and The Devil's in the Details.
Minute in Hell.
That's a weird one. Weird one.
So I'll have to brush up on some of my Big Finish things because, well, if we do when we do like a video there, and like maybe hopefully we can talk to some people. Yeah, we'll have to be you talking to the people because you know Big Finish. They'll say like, "Do you remember in Zagreus?" And I'll be like, "Who?
Yeah, who? What? Where?
Who the fuck is Zagreus?
Who am I?" Yeah, well, yeah. Well, he questions himself in that story. He doesn't even know who he is. What actually? Zagreus is he the one that
eye?
What is the rhyme?
Oh, Bruce, the Asian child. Very questionable, but apparently it was fine in the 90s.
Eric Roberts, he has a range of Master.
Yeah,
He's
Master.
Back. Yeah,
and
Master.
Missy has done some. 'Cause there was a Master crossover thing, wasn't there?
Masterful, that was 2021 50th anniversary of Terror of the Autons, and that was like a Masterful special. We had John Sim in that one as well.
Who the fuck is John Sim?
Who the fuck is John Sim? Well, he is not Zagreus.
Why is John Sim not done more of it? Because I think
man, he's a very limited man. I don't know. I'm not defending him. I'm not an agent of him at all. I don't know. He really hasn't, and that's not fair. But I could say the same about Mr. McQueen. He hasn't been there since 2017. He's come back for us.
Just for
Stuff
us.
of legend.
Just for us.
Because he's that legendary.
He's like, Connor's going to be there. I have to do something.
I have to play the character of Niels' dad.
So your five are...
Oh, fucking hell.
I
say, yeah, Spare Parts, Chimes of Midnight, Jubilee, if you like Dalek, fuck it, The Harvest, just to be a little bit different, and a Paul McGann one, that's Chimes of Midnight. I said another sixth one, didn't I? I said way too much. If you want more modern, then I guess the Metropolis Fritz Lang third box set of the 9th Doctor adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah, Old Soldiers, I think that one's
called. Have you
called.
got a favourite of the modern Doctors?
9.
Yeah.
It's Eccleston for sure. Yeah, very recent releases. More on the pricey end, but the stories, from what I listen to, are very much worth it.
Any good Tennant ones?
Dalek Universe. I've not done them yet, but that's a 12-part Dalek epic across 3 releases. The only thing about that, there is a character from the fourth Doctor story that appears in it, so I've got to listen to that first for her appearance in the Tennant one to make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing about Big Finish. When they do so many ranges and so many Doctors at once and so many things in advance, you do kind of have to have a bit of a prerequisite with some stories. Some of the early stuff you can just sort of whack on, listen, and it's mostly a standalone story.
But then the continuity kind of then builds between
especially with Paul, a lot of the early stuff with Charlie, it gets a little bit. When you get to Zagreus and Scherzo and is it the antimatter land, that's where it all goes a bit, and that's where Big Finish get a bit big for their boots and decide to nick your money for the stories.
They're fantastic.
They are brilliant. They are really good fun, especially if you're someone that can't sleep at night. And you try all the medication you try, and not to turn into a big mental health ad, but you can't cuddle up at night and get warm, then you just listen to Paul McGann, and in the nicest way, Paul...
You cuddle up to Paul
me
McGann,
sleep.
don't you? Yeah.
Oh, my pillow. I imagine him there right beside me, and then I get a big jump scare in my ear, and then that puts me to sleep, and I turn off.
You're like, murder.
Yeah. Exterminate! Or Scherzo is one with, it's notorious. It's fucking jump scares. How does audio have jump scares? Aren't they meant to be visuals?
Yeah, but that's good writing. If you're actually scared by the audio, you're like, oh.
Yeah, it really made me like think, fuck, that noise is outside, but it was right in my ears.
Is it kind of like, with some comics you'll kind of go like, oh, I like that writer, I'll sort of check out their stories?
1,000,000%. They've got the regular cast directors in all formats. You like you say, you've got your artists, you like your directors, you like your there are Robert Valentine is the only name that comes to mind. Nick Briggs does direct and write a lot of them. I can't think of any poxy directors that are like, oh, check him out. Again, if you don't like this guide, because this is very rough, off the mill, non-rehearsed. We might even leave a channel link to Stu Bagfall. He does a lovely guide of the Paul McGann ones.
Stu Bagfall.
His guide is so much more humorous than me, but he, without spoiling them and breaking them down, explains what's going on. And he can do the whole continuity thing a little bit better, because he'll be like, well, this is before this, and this is then that, and da-da-da-da. And he gives you a rough window of, this is the early stuff, this is free, and then once you get to this, and this is where da-da-da-da happens, and he essentially will fill in the gaps in between. But not quite as small as us, but, maybe one day we can get him on board. He can be the smallest star of them all. But yeah, if you're bored of Doctor Who, then by all means you've got different ranges on there, like we said, Star Trek, Star Wars, no, not Star Wars, I'm a liar, Sherlock Holmes, Blake Seven. There's a few one-off releases that weren't mentioned on the Hubs page of the website. But if you've purely got Doctor Who on your mind, but you were bored of all the Doctors because there's so many poxy stories, then just whack on's the Master. Think about Derek Jacobi. Think of him in all these British films, and think of how much of a nice senior citizen he is, and then screw that expectation, turn them sideways, and you're going to rot at your guts, but also cheer for him because he's so brilliantly good as the War Master. Genuinely like the
really
best
good,
villain to have his own range. It's ridiculous.
Torchwood have a range as well, don't they?
They do. Those I've dabbled very few in, so I wasn't not going to neglect them. But yeah, Torchwood, that's another popular range in Big Finish country, but again, doesn't occasionally cross over with Doctor Who. So Torchwood is very much its own thing. You can always view Torchwood as non-Doctor Who in a way.
Because there was the infamous Absent Friends release that was cancelled because of that's when the stuff with John come out. So that then got scrapped, and a lot of people were like, oh, but you can't. But I want the story, and it's like, but you don't get to choose how they do this sort of thing.
No,
because there's been, I don't know if you've seen all script releases of that. Like someone had a picture of the script and posted some of that online, because it was the Doctor, Jack, and Yanto, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? I've not really read about it.
The Lives of Captain Jack. That's when he's in the coat. Does John Barrowman still do Big Finish, or has he been blacklisted by that as well?
I literally searched him on here. Most recent first. Recent first, and then depending on that, tell you his last release. Dad's Army, the radio show. I didn't even know that was a thing. 2024, Jesus. Jack. Well, no, that's not John Barrowman. I put in Captain Jack. Fine, I'll put in John Barrowman, see what comes up.
There's the awkward silence. But no, so do they do Sarah Jane ones as well?
It was before Sarah Jane Adventures with Elizabeth Sladen. It was just called
Is that
Sarah
what it's
Jane.
Called? Welcome to before
Sarah Jane. Welcome to before SJA. Yeah, that mouthful of a title. Yeah. John Barrowman, recent first, 31 results. Lives of Captain Jack Volume 3, which was 2020. Yeah, so
so since then, nothing.
No, not from him anyway.
Has there been more Torchwood stories since?
Yeah, Torchwood is still going, but again, it is Gwen, Yanto, even Bern Gorman, Owen.
Oh, he's back. Has Toshiko come back?
Yeah, they've all done.
What's her name? Nakuru
Mori, I thought. Yeah, they've all come back and done sort of monthly, like the early monthly ranges are basically where 1 month it was this Doctor's story, where it seems to be like Ianto's done this thing here, then you've got Bern Gorman, Owen doing this thing here, and then Eve Miles and maybe
because you get Reese
is doing the thing over here,
and PC Andy as well.
You do, yeah. I think even PC Andy may or may not be the same character, crosses over with Paul at some point, but I don't think it's the same character. But it's the same actor.
Oh. What about does Susie come back?
She did, a couple of releases. I don't, not like. that's the thing with these stories. You can tell when it's set because of the certain actresses and roles they play. So I think some of it is either in between stuff or prior.
Yeah. So pre-series 1.
Yeah, or prior to like their death or whatever. Because you got Torchwood 1, which is
Yvonne Hartman. Jesus.
before.
Bet she's not done it in a while. Old fucking Tracy Ann Oberman.
When was her last release? Recent first. I Hate Mondays. Well, guess what, guys? This is a Tuesday. Well, it's a Friday by the time you're listening to this. May 2024. Oh no, no.
She's only somewhat problematic, apparently.
Recent 26 results. Yeah, so I Hate Mondays like May. Among Us. No, she's a bit of a regular in the Torchwood world.
Bit of a shame. But yeah, so there's always something to tickle your fancy.
Yeah, just a bit. And
did they do Class? Did they do Class?
Yeah, kind of. It was kind of like a half
before
season.
The end of series 1.
Yeah, it was in between season 1, but I think there might have been a handful that was afterwards, like a semi-sequel. But then since then, there's been nothing.
Didn't they sort of when it come back the second time on Big Finish it was a lot of like because I think Kathleen Kelly didn't come back as Miss Quill, and one of the other guys had been recast as well.
I think you'd right. Yeah. I mean, again, not that I know the cast.
Because it was a weird, like, because I know we were saying there's, like, weird, like, contract jurisdictions with Big Finish, but also, like, it was, the Class thing was, we can make these Class audio dramas because we're not getting a Series 2, but because we're not getting a Series 2, it can't go past the end of Series 1.
Point. Yeah, exactly. What was the point of it then? Yeah, some of these stories are a little bit, or deals are a little bit, like, non-disclosure. They're called NDAs for a reason. We're not supposed to know anything about them.
But yet we do. Well, thank you for that, Conor. He's still searching. He's buying them all. He's buying Big Finish.
I searched Nymon because that's how broken I am.
He's turning into Nick Briggs.
I'm turning into...
I am regenerating.
I turned into Suit Tech.
Would you care for some audio plays?
Well, if you do, come and see us
service
now.
Provider.
Give us your ISP/email address.
Bloody hell. All I know is this computer is fucked. But anyway, until then, Conor, where can the good people find us?
Yeah,
apart from at Big Finish, Stuff of Legend.
No, at Cadogan Hall on September 14th at 7:30 PM roughly. Yeah, postcode here. Or outside PO Box 8278 Reading Berkshire RG6 9UL #Big Finish. No. You know, X, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, maybe. MySpace, if it's still a thing. There's probably some bootleg MySpace, which people still use, sadly. Maybe. I imagine all of the old early 90s sites have got some dodgy version on the dark web somewhere. They're probably still up and running, just unbeknownst. Again, you guys know social media more than me, so whatever hip, trendy, TikTok-y related platforms it's on in the blink of an eye, until one gets shut down and then another one gets birthed, who knows. The genesis of Vine, RIP Vine, and then we get TikTok a few years later. God damn, bring back Vine. Vine was fun. Yeah. Yeah, social media, you guys do your thing. I can care less. You found us, share us, like us.
Subscribe to us.
Please like us.
And we'll see you next week. And at Big Finish, when cut to Conor kissing Paul McGann next week. Oh, it's a nice big kiss, wasn't it?
Nice quick old smooch.
Even though we can't put this in until we record next week, but hey.
No.
It's a...
Nice old Gregory
Peck.
Do
you know what it is?
Stuff
it's a legend. Story thread. It's a Stuff of Legend, yeah. It's a story thread that we can pick up on next time.
Next time. Oh dear.
$29.99 for the release of this episode.
Yeah.
Goodbye.